Have you ever felt like your mind was working against you, just slowly stealing your own happiness and your peace? Most of us don't realize it, but we have these quick reflexive thoughts that pop in uninvited and kind of color everything that we see. In psychology, we call them ants, which is short for automatic negative thoughts. This concept was originally developed by Dr. Aaron Beck. These aren't just bad thoughts. They are cognitive distortions where our mind takes a little bit of the truth and twists it into something much more painful. Our brains usually do this to try to protect us, but the result is that they rob us of our joy and leave us feeling stuck or anxious or not good enough. If you saw my video on the internal rule book, you know I've spent a lot of time looking at this rule book that we all carry containing those sometimes rigid laws that tell us how we and the rest of the world should behave. Identifying and eliminating these ants has been a massive part of how I've reduced the size of my own rule book, and it has been so helpful. When we stop letting these thoughts steal our happiness, the rules get a lot lighter. And to make sense out of this senselessness of these thoughts, we have to learn how to spot the patterns. I've identified 10 specific ways that these ants show up in my own life, and I'm sharing these because I want to normalize how messy and human our internal dialogue can be. So let's look at the first one, which is a trap I fall into probably way more often than I would like to admit. It's all or nothing thinking. So this is when we see things in extremes, like always or never or everyone or no one. It's a place where there is no middle ground. If my partner doesn't hang his towel up after a shower, my brain might jump straight to, he never hangs up his towel. It's either he always does this or he never does that. And there's no room for him just being human who forgot a few times. I've wiped away every instance of him doing it because I'm stuck in the extremes. Next is overgeneralization. And this is where we take one single event and we make it into this universal truth. I've taught seminars, for example, where dozens of people provided positive feedback, and then I'd get this one single criticism from a participant. And instead of seeing it as one person's opinion, I took that criticism and made it the voice of all of the attendees and kind of convinced myself that I failed because I took the one voice and put it on everyone. The third is mental filter, and this is when we focus on one negative detail and let it kind of ruin everything else. I've had moments where a client didn't return for services with me, and I would kind of dwell on that one person for days and sometimes weeks, completely ignoring the dozens of other clients who are returning and thriving and doing incredible work in our time together. In essence, I'm filtering out the growth and then only focusing on the empty chair. And then there's mind reading. And this is where we assume that we know what somebody else is thinking. An example that comes to mind is one time my daughter was vacuuming and I saw this little fuzz ball down that the vacuum had missed, and I pick it up and she immediately gets defensive because she was certain she knew what I was thinking. She thought I was judging her for not doing a good enough job. She was reading a mind that wasn't even thinking that though at all. The fifth ant is fortune telling, or predicting a negative outcome before it happens. When I have to call the IRS, especially after they've already been really short with me and talked over me in the past, I'll predict exactly how it's going to go. I'll tell myself, well, they're going to be rude to me, and I am defensive and anxious for a conversation that hasn't even happened yet. Sixth is catastrophizing, which is taking a problem and blowing it way out of proportion. So an example would be in the past when I've had like several conflicts kind of in a closer period of time, I would think, oh, we're just not going to make it. And I would even start thinking about steps for separation, unable to see all of the things that were actually great and or going well in that relationship. And then we have emotional reasoning. which is assuming that because we feel a certain way, it must be the truth. So in a previous video, I had shared a story about someone who wasn't included in a plan that I didn't even make. Because their feelings were so big, they assumed that this was a huge and personal rudeness on my part. Their feelings were so intense that they couldn't see the real size of the situation, and including the fact that I wasn't even the one who made the plan. Eighth is should statements. These are the absolute laws in our internal book that primarily function to create guilt by setting up these unrealistic expectations. So we might hear them in our thoughts like, I should never be angry, or I should be able to handle everything on my own, or I should be doing more. I catch myself with this one constantly, and for me, it sounds like I should always be productive. It doesn't actually motivate me though. Sometimes it just leaves me feeling this deep sense of guilt for failing, sometimes before the day has even begun. That guilt doesn't help us grow. It just kind of crushes our spirit. And then ninth is labeling, where we take a mistake and we turn it into our whole identity. I used to really struggle with labeling myself as stupid. If I didn't know certain things, like something about history or from history or geography or even a current event, instead of just saying, oh, I don't know that yet, I would just slap a big label on me of I am stupid and put that on my whole identity. And finally, there's personalization, and that's taking responsibility for things that aren't even about us. So for me, an example would be if somebody doesn't like reach out to me kind of regularly or take time for us to talk on the phone or make plans to get together, I would take it personally. I would decide it's because they didn't like me, and instead of realizing that it might just be that they're really busy and or overwhelmed in their own life right now. So which of these 10 distortions do you catch yourself doing most often? I would love it if you drop a comment below so that we can keep normalizing this together. And identifying these is the first step toward reclaiming your happiness. In our next video, I'm going to show you how to talk back to those ants and reclaim your peace. And if you did find value in this, please like and subscribe to join our growing community, and click the bell if you want to get notified when that next video is released. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, being human is messy and it's beautiful, and it's worth showing up for exactly as you are. I'm so glad you're here.